If you're into tech like me, then for a long time, you know that the age of OLED was coming and is now upon us. There has been OLED monitors for years and years now, but they have been largely TVs. After that, we eventually saw these first generation 27-inch, 240 hertz, 1440p panels, now moving into 32-inch, 4K, 240 hertz panels, with refresh rates 360 hertz, 240 hertz at 4K, even 480 hertz at 1080p on some models. Hopefully, we will see an LG 27-inch, 480 hertz, 1440p monitor later this year. But until that happens, you have a couple options on the market. Personally, I have been using an LG OLED for under a year now, but for maybe the last 6 to 8 months, I can't exactly remember when I got it, but it is a treat to be using. I am currently powering it with a RTX 4080 Super. I was using a 3080 Super or 3080 10 gigabyte from last generation, and I've just had amazing performance with this monitor, and I think it's a great addition to anyone who's looking for a top-end monitor. Now, what I want to talk about today is this specific model is the 27-inch GR95QE from LG, and its original list price was $999. $1,000 US is a lot to pay for a monitor, but now with the new kind of third generations I'm talking about, these 4K 240 hertz panels coming out, the 1440p or Quad HD 240 hertz panels are now coming down in price as their new models come out and become refreshed. Now, they did refresh the GR950QE with a later monitor QE. This is the QE-B. That's the older gen, which is kind of confusing because it's the -B. But if you're looking for a deal right now, you can get it for $659, both on eBay, on Amazon, or sorry, not eBay, but Amazon, LG's website, and Best Buy, as well as some other retailers like Newegg. This thing, they are trying to clear out stock of it because they want to start selling their refresh, and they want to clear out the lower stock of basically the same monitor. So you're getting what I would probably call like a Gen 2.5 monitor for Gen 2 like prices. And what I said initially when I first got this monitor is, yeah, it's great. It's not $1,000 great. I bought mine used for around $550, which was a killer price at the time. I said these things have to come below $700 before I would really suggest people buy into them. And if you're looking and you've been waiting, this is probably the time to buy into it. $700 is about that spot where I say, yeah, it's time to make the jump. But if you can wait longer, I guarantee you that these 360 hertz Alienware panels, the Samsung QD OLED panels, 360 hertz Quad HD panels are going to be great, and they're going to be sub $700 easily by this time next year. We'll probably see some even dip with a 5 at the beginning of that price tag, possibly a $499 Black Friday sale this time, in 2025 Black Friday. That's like way far out there. But the way the monitor tech has been increasing, the way the demand has been increasing as the buyers start knowing about these products and we can actually get a handle on supply and demand for them, you're going to see some crazy prices, especially as we get outside of the realms of Asus, LG, Alienware, all the main brands. Once a brand like AOC takes over it again, or some other brand, you're going to see some really competitively priced monitors. So you can definitely wait, and it's going to be great. Or if you can't wait, $650 for the LG 27GR95QE is a great deal. And that's the monitor I'm going to be talking about today. So I know I spent the first 4 minutes talking about kind of some of the meta behind these monitors, because I know we're seeing like crazy different ones out there. But now I want to really dial into my experience with this one here. So the 27GR950QE, last time, it's going to be on the screen right now. This is the -B model. There is a newer model that you can buy, but there is really no reason to get it when the older model is on such a steep price discount. Now, here's what's going on. It's 240 hertz with adaptive sync capabilities. Adaptive sync on OLEDs is really gnarly right now. In situations where you see gray on the screen or you have bad frame pacing, it flickers like crazy. and it's absolutely unbearable for anyone who's trying to concentrate on anything that's going on screen. Luckily, if you can push 240 FPS pretty consistently to it, or even anything over 100, you're gonna get just fine motion clarity with this monitor, and you're gonna have a great experience. You might as well just turn the AppSync off because it's just that distracting. Now, 1440p has been around for a long time. There's lots of GPUs that can push that kind of frame rate. Anything like a 3080 from previous gen, even a 3070 can push it in a lot of lower games. Like if you're playing Valorant, easy over 300 FPS all the time on something like a 3070. If you're rocking something like a 3080, 4070, 4070 Super, 6900, 6800 XT even, anything from this generation, 7800 XT, like all of those cards, high performance cards, if you're in the market for a $700 monitor, you probably have $1,000 graphics card at this point. At one point, you know, it was $1,000. So I'm rocking the RTX 4080 Super, and that thing just plows through this monitor no problem. When it comes time for the Quad HD 480 hertz monitor, we're going to see about that. But anyways, let's get back to talking about this one. Some things that people never talk about with this monitor is the remote. I never hear anyone talk about the remote when I watch reviews and when I watch the first time reviews, but honestly, I never want to have another monitor without a remote like this. I know it's going to happen at some point. I know eventually I'll have something from the likes of Asus or a different monitor manufacturer where they don't have the remote, but everyone needs to be including something like this. So if I'm going to pay you $1,000 for a monitor, throw in the knickknack because this thing is awesome. It has a full button down here that's just for panel care and panel settings that lets me make sure I'm having the screen cleaning when it needs to, pixel refresh, pixel shift, everything like that is right on that button. Changing my brightness, changing any monitor settings, and there is a lot of notifications that come up on this thing for me to make sure I'm not actually being inactive on the monitor. It will automatically turn off in a certain amount of time to prevent burn-in. So I'm touching this remote all the time, and honestly, it's a treat. I have two other LG monitors as my kind of side monitors, and pressing a button and like trying to go around on it feels so archaic compared to the remote. So the remote's awesome. Another thing that I've heard talked about a lot, on the other hand, is the look of this monitor. It is dang beautiful. It is simple, it is sweet on the outsides, and it doesn't really get much better than this when it comes to bezels and the overall fit and finish. It is metal, it is thin, and it's beautiful. So lastly, let's talk about some things that people worry about with these monitors. Now, when you're looking at buying something like this, you're looking to get the most out of it. And some people are worried about the fact that it is a matte coating. So matte versus glossy. I've had a glossy OLED for years now. I've had before this a C7, LG C7 65-inch OLED. Now I have a Samsung QD OLED S95B in the living room, and these things both look excellent with their glossy screens. However, am I missing out a lot on it with my matte finish on this OLED panel? And the answer is it depends. So the only time that I actually feel like I'm missing out on something when it comes to these OLED panels is when I'm viewing clouds in War Thunder or something else that's very gray. So it's a defect of the panel, that it just looks, or it's not a defect, but it's an effect of the panel that it looks like you're looking through a dirty window when you're looking on grays, and it just does. And only in these very specific scenarios will I ever notice it. If I was actually playing a game, I would never notice it. But when you do pay $1,000 for a panel, you want to have the most premium option available with no compromises. And this is a compromise in that aspect. Now, if you get a glossy panel, you do have the issue of the raised black levels if you have off-angle ambient light. I do notice that on my Samsung QD OLED in the living room. When light hits it, you can definitely see that the black levels get raised. You do see that the reflections are worse. And I would prefer to have a little bit more of the gloss than this, but overall, you're going to have a compromise either way. And honestly, I think the biggest thing for me is I started to notice reflections and coatings more when I switched to this monitor because of how good the image is. Now the image is beautiful, contrast is beautiful, motion clarity is beautiful, and if you've been following OLED monitors at all, you know all of these things. But what you don't know is what a lot of reviewers couldn't tell you at the time is how is this monitor going to hold up in terms of burn-in. And honestly, I use my monitor for work. Sometimes I have to log in more. Mondays and Fridays we can work from home, so I'm working on that. I'm in the Excel sheets. I'm cranking out full white background, working on static images all day because that's what I do. I work in Excel. And did this monitor hold up? Well, I've used this monitor for around 1,000 hours, and I probably say maybe around 100 of those were static images like Excel. Now, there's been other times where I've been watching something or had static images on the screen for a long time. Let's say we're editing it and something like DaVinci or Premiere with a lot of static images on the screen. And I haven't had any issues hereforth. I'm pretty sure, and I can't say with 100% certainty, but like with 85-90% certainty, that we are past the point where you need to worry about accelerated drastic burn-in issues on monitors. I think the technology for OLEDs has been around for half a decade at this point, and we've kind of grown past that ability. Now, if you are cranking up the brightness, turning on HDR, using Windows 11 with HDR on all white backgrounds, and you're getting your Excel and your Excel worksheet is 60 hours a week, you are a grinder in it as an analyst or something, you're going to see degraded performance. It's going to happen. But I've also had burn-in on LCDs. It's not like it can't happen on an LCD. If you absolutely wanted it to happen, you can make it happen for sure. But have I noticed anything? Am I worried about anything? Not at all at this point. This monitor has excellent burn-in reduction features that make it turn off when it needs to, that make the screen pixel shift when it needs to, that dim the brightness when it needs to. It does everything exactly how it should to prevent this burn-in from happening. So if you do buy it, and if you do buy any OLED, have some confidence in the technology. It's there. They wouldn't be offering it, and it wouldn't be so widely adopted if there wasn't if it was really that bad, right? It just wouldn't be a viable product. You'd get so many returns. But at this point, the technology is there. This is a great monitor, but if you really can wait until the next gen, because it's just going to get cheaper with how fast we've seen prices drop, with how much innovation we've seen, even in the last 12 months. Imagine what it's going to look like 12 months from now. Just wait and hold out until it's the right time for you. So that's about all I had to say. This video took me forever to make. I know it's been like I've been away forever, but honestly, it's been a different time in my life. A lot of things going on, but I hope to come back to making some stuff soon. So yeah, that's about it. And I'm probably just going to upload this one as it is with a couple things over it. So thanks. Peace.